Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the PHNX Rising Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. I'm Ramon Chavez, checking in one more time here with you guys today. And, of course, as always, we got Owen Evans looking as happy as always. How you doing, Evan?
Yeah, I'm just kind of staring at the moment at Max. How's the lighting situation in that bedroom there, Max?
It's great, dude. It gets better every time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, there's the point. How is it getting better? Like,
I think it's improving. It's the fine details. I don't hear the folks on audio complaining.
You know, I'm just going back to
Max,
the original.
I like your setup, man. I like to keep my house a little bit darker too, so I'm in your team. So
thank you.
Mysterious.
You're a hater. Owen's a hater. Certified.
You never know if a serial killer is just going to kind of like pop up behind him or something, like, you know, like some kind of horror movie.
It'd probably
Maybe this is how it starts. Yeah, the PHNX Rising podcast.
Went down a dark path after that. Max, how you doing, my man?
Well, I was good before Owen started talking.
Now he's just looking over his shoulder constantly.
At OJ Evans 18 might be the culprit. So keep your eyes peeled.
You can see that I'm somewhere else. That's the problem.
I mean, as long as Saul is not popping up behind you like he usually does, you know,
I have some questions. I have a lot of questions.
Totally fine. Yeah, it's all good. A couple squares. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started with the show. We have a good one for y'all today. Of course, we're going to talk about the World Cup final that's taking place on Sunday. It's going to be France versus Argentina, a matchup that a lot of people wanted. So definitely going to talk about that and see our predictions and what we have to say in regards to that game. Of course, there was some news today. Rising kind of been treating us, you know, kind of like they're in a little bit of the holiday spirit, giving us so many gifts and signings and stuff like that. So definitely going to talk about that new signing that was announced today, and then some other stuff towards the end of the show. But let's go ahead and get started, y'all. The new Phoenix Rising signee was announced today. They went with the center back this time, which I was kind of glad. You know, I know Rising was a little bit thin on that department, but they signed the Swedish defender John Stenberg. I'll be honest with you guys, I've never heard of him, but you know, I know the Rising squad and the scouting department have done a great job in doing their parts. I'm sure he's fine. He's a fine fellow. But Owen, Max,
you mean to tell me that you're not a big follower of the Swedish second?
Yeah, you're not well versed in the Swedish
not the second league. Not the second league. That's why I kind of missed them on our radar. But.
So you could definitely tell us more than about the new El Paso coach, but you just couldn't tell us about the new signing for Phoenix Rising.
The second one is where I kind of, you know, I don't have time for that one. But yeah, Owen, what's going on with this new defender that Rising signed?
Right. So again, Rising squad is still looking pretty thin at the moment. We don't have a lot of confirmed returnees. We don't have a great deal either of new signings. They're starting to trickle in now a lot more so than they were before, but still pretty low number that are guaranteed on the books for next season. Now, this move in particular, when you look at it, he's a player that Juan described as being fast. That, of course, has been a problem for the defense in the past. He's also someone who, if you look at the highlights that the team posted, knows how to spray a ball out of the back, trying to quick start a quick counter. Now, that's something that we actually have seen James Musa do in the past. Maybe not too recently, but it's filling in for something that he definitely had in the back pocket. I think overall, look, it's hard to judge. It's hard to know what the step between those divisions is going to be. Of course, we know that a few USL players, Forrest Lasso, Ronaldo Damas, went into the top tier over in Sweden, and it's been a bit of a struggle for their team. So when you think about it, maybe this is around about the right level to be looking at bringing someone in from. But again, we're just not going to know in a lot of ways until he takes the field. So there are positives, definitely, when you look at the kind of attributes that he's being touted as bringing. But let's wait until we see him on the field, and then hopefully we'll get a little bit better judgment of what we're looking at here.
Max, how are you feeling about the signing? Like I said, you know, they looked a little thin, and at times last year, you know, there was a little bit of struggle in the playmaking coming out of the center back. So are you okay with the signing? You think this is a good one heading into next year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, kind of going off Owen's point, there's only so much you can glean, I think, if you aren't familiar with the league, the transitions. And listen, like we saw, unless you did extensive research on him, you pretty much are judging off of a 30 to 60-second clip, highlights put together. And that's not going to tell you everything, but I think that can tell you a bit about maybe the profile or the type of player we're going to see. I see Mike's comment in there. He quoted himself in that little interview clip as a quarterback of the defense.
We need to cut that slogan. That feels too LeBron James of soccer for my liking. It's got that kind of like vibe to it.
You've never seen a Swedish American football game? I've seen plenty in my day. Come on. But no, I'm very much a fan of the style for two reasons. I mean, number one, I always like a center back who can play those diagonal balls, especially on the left foot. Dare I say Tim Ream-esque for those fans of the U.S. men's national team. Gotta love that. So, I mean, being able to play those wide balls, especially when I think a lot of rising signings, it seems to be, hey, we got a lot of midfield, very speedy, very playing in the center of the park. So I like it that he gives a bit more horizontal width, so to speak. But the other thing, too, that I saw in those clips is he looks aggressive in stepping out to the ball. Two types of defenders that you see, especially center backs. You have ones that are going to play that offside line and are really going to be those aerial threats who, hey, we're going to sit back a bit, but it's one of those bend-don't-break defenses. And then you have the kind where we're going to step out. It's kind of the high risk, high reward. And he seems to be the latter. I personally like that because I think if you can dictate that play and you put that on you put the other team on the offensive by being aggressive on your defensive line, I absolutely love that. So if a center back who can play balls diagonally, center back who can step out and win, massive fan to me. I think it gives the team a bit of a dimension that while it's had in the past, hopefully this is a bit more consistently. And hey, who knows how this will look, but I'm a fan just kind of based on the profile it gives our defense.
Something to note as well, look, he's a ball-playing defender, so yes, he is a guy who is going to help kickstart the possession out of the back. We were expecting overall, I mean, Max, you kind of touched on just the recruitment as a whole so far. We're expecting this team to be more possession-based, based off of things that Juan said in the past. Okay, he said specifically that, he'd kind of back in the days when he was an assistant under Rick, that was where perhaps they had some of their bigger arguments, was the fact that Juan wanted to see a more possession-based style, whereas Rick was trying to play a very vertical, quick counter kind of style. The interesting part about, I think, this signing and the signings as a whole so far is that you do have a lot of quicker people coming up there, and there is the serial killer finally popping up on Max's screen. But you're actually seeing a much kind of, between those quick players, between the centre back who can play a long ball forward quite accurately from what we've seen, and can really kind of kickstart a quick counter, is that those are the kind of signings you'd have thought would be more in tune with a team that's going to play a little bit more vertically. So I'm just intrigued to see quite how all of these things play into what it is that Juan wants to do. And whether his ideas on the team as a whole have kind of changed maybe a little bit since when he first came in, and first things he said he wanted to implement, and quite what's behind that change if it is there. But again, it's tough to say. We're reading things into what we think the players are going to do. Of course, when they show up and get down on the training ground, they may be doing something completely different. So it's hard to tell at this point, isn't it? Especially when you got people coming from all different leagues, really, to mishmash into this team.
Yeah, on one end, I really like the fact that they're looking at not just the U.S. as far as talent. They're looking elsewhere at other leagues and trying to see if there's a player that can fit this new regime that Juan has. So it's going to be interesting. And like I said, I honestly didn't know about this player. I'm looking forward to seeing him out on the pitch and seeing what he has to bring to this team. But based on what I've seen and based on what I've heard, it looks like it's going to be a good fit. So we'll see.
The biggest question to me is how's he going to react to the heat, because Sweden to Arizona, that's no joke of a transition.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for sure, especially once we get to those humid summer months when it's really humid. Sometimes when you're down on the pitch, man, it could be really tough. So definitely some adjustment there. All right, y'all. But I'll ask you guys this question because on Twitter and Facebook, I kind of read some different things in regards to the signing. Were you kind of, not that this is not a great player, but and a good signing, but we're kind of disappointed that you're not seeing these, like we talked about it on Tuesday, about these big splash signings that Rising kind of typically have a hand in during the offseason? Are you guys kind of getting a little, I don't want to say frustrated, but a little alarmed maybe that you're not seeing those kind of big USL figures coming over here to Phoenix?
I'm going to give you a kind of an awkward fence city answer on this one. And I know that I actually advocated more for the fact that they could do with a flashier signing sooner, earlier in the week. But for now, what I think, it's not necessarily a problem that they aren't bringing those kind of players in. Where the problem comes from, to me, is the risk of overhype, let's say. Yesterday, of course, Brandon McCarthy, who conveniently tweeted about Ben Lunt, is also tweeting about this new signing coming in. And before it was announced, kind of described him as someone who's going to quickly become a fan favorite. Now, I'm not saying that that's incorrect, but when you big up a transfer like that, A, you're putting more pressure on the guy, and B, you kind of want to see the evidence of the fact that this guy is going to be. I don't want to see those claims unless it's a very, very well-founded claim that fans seeing the announcement will immediately know. Let's see things played a little bit more humbly, a little bit more reasonably. I think keep expectations in the right kind of location rather than blowing smoke up someone's behind and trying to give this image of, when someone comes out and says something like that, you're expecting a big name signing almost at that point, aren't you? You're expecting someone who's going to immediately whip up excitement from the fans. And now that's not necessarily the opposite here. I think that today's signing has been generally well received. And I think based off of the things that we do know with relatively decent reason, there's good reason to believe that he has something to offer this team. But it's still just, I just rather would see these not overhyped when they don't have to be.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think we kind of talked about it a bit on Tuesday's show. My kind of stance was I would love to see a big name player, but not at the expense of team cohesion. I agree with what you're saying. And when you kind of send out those, I guess, more or less cryptic tweets, that you do have the expectations that come with it. And you hope that, okay, this is going to be a well-known quantity rather than something that maybe it's conjured up in your opinion. Like, it has to be someone that's like league-wide respect or coming in from another league where it's like, okay, there's absolute upside here. So we'll see what that comes to be. I mean, my whole thing is all of these signings, I'm hoping that it's, going towards Juan's style of play, but really trying to find a through line of what is the profile of these players that are coming in. I think a lot of the players we've seen are guys who can break lines, guys who are dynamic both on and off the ball. And it seems like a bit more, how can I put it, not directness necessarily in play, but guys where it looks like they're bringing in a bit more of like refinement in passing and attacking sense, where I think there is an emphasis of putting the ball in the back of the net, at least maybe not in stats wise, but of the profile of players. So that's my whole thing. If you can bring in consistent players who fit the profile of what you're looking to do, then I'll be happy in that. If I see players who, well, you have one guy who has a different profile than another, you need a mix here and there, but I want to see players who are genuinely aligned in team philosophy, and that'll make me happy.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree with that for sure. So, keep in touch with us on Twitter, PHNX__rising for any further developments. We're still kind of waiting on some players. There goes Max.
Maybe the serial killer is at the door now.
Oh my goodness! Why do you keep? Were you watching like some shows or something? Like, is that what you keep?
No, I'm just agitating, Max.
What's going on here?
My cat is just making all kinds of noise. I told him, you guys were all there with producer Sean, and I said, do not make any noise. He was quiet as a mouse. And as soon as we hit go live and we hit record, there he is. So I apologize.
Worth noting,
What?
Worth noting that, of course, when that first happened, we didn't see Max's cat.
Okay, all right.
So we weren't sure if it was just the voices in his head.
You've met it. I have shown him to you guys before.
All right. Yeah, like, don't throw a cat away, because we saw what happened in Brazil. Good stuff.
Brutal.
But yeah, we'll keep you updated with what any more signings, or if we get any word on the players from the 2022 season, because we don't have a lot of
a huge amount of information. No.
Yeah, so that's been a little bit confusing, but we'll see what happens, and hopefully we get some information soon. Let's pivot for a quick second, talk about our friends at Bad Birdie. Max, where's the Bad Birdie shirt? I always look forward to you, looking, pretty nice. I'm like, maybe I should buy a Bad Birdie shirt, because I want to start looking good too.
Well, hey, I am not rocking it right now. I was rocking it on our Tuesday show. I have a couple different polos and a hat that I could be busting out in my attire. But hey, we love our friends at Bad Birdie. It is getting a little bit colder. They have some nice pullovers. Mac, our social gal Mac, she actually showed me today that they came out with a new line of like hoodies and sweatpants. And they are fancy, like very, very nice, very stylish. Not your hand-me-down to your grandma's sweatpants, so to speak. No. These are your own. So I very much like the style that they're going for. But hey, if you want to get your own set of Bad Birdie merch, use code BADBIRDIE PHNX 15 for those on audio. That is Bad Birdie with BIRDIE PHNX 15 for 15% off at badbirdiegolf.com. They got all the good stuff, and especially during holiday season, make sure to stock up. Because I don't know, they got good stuff, and we're just a fan of what they do. A couple of us were out hitting the driving range on Tuesday, and I counted 5 of us from PHNX all rocking Bad Birdie from head to, well, not necessarily toe, but head to waist. So yeah, very good stuff.
I was just about to say that. I saw those pictures and I was like, look, I'm not the biggest golf guy, but if I'm going to look that good, playing golf, I got to get me some Bad Birdie. So definitely check them out, badbirdiegolf.com. Use that promo code right there.
To quote the late, great Michael Jackson, I'm bad. You know it.
Oh my goodness. Look at Owen's face. He loves those Michael Jackson. Moving on, y'all.
Replace Max with the cat at this point.
Just a bunch of meows. All right, y'all. Let's go and talk about what's going on Sunday. Argentina, the team of destiny, I feel, against France, the defending reigning champions. It's going to be a crazy matchup. I saw the France-Morocco game yesterday. A little bit disappointed in Morocco. I think they kind of came out with a bad setup. They weren't ready to face that team. And as soon as that first goal happened, I think there was just too big of a hill to climb. And they weren't able to make it to the final. But nonetheless, great stuff from Morocco. But Argentina-France, how are we feeling, guys?
Well, I mean, you've just now utterly jinxed them by calling them the team of destiny, right? Let's be clear here, because how many times does the team of destiny actually do it in the end? The storyline is almost too perfect that it just can't happen. We saw it in 2018 with Phoenix Rising, right? It was Didier Drogba's final bow. He was going to go out with a USL title. We'd have one last trophy to add to the collection. Didn't happen, did it? I just wonder if they're gonna do it. I mean, this is a tight one.
Yeah,
this is gonna be very, very tight. I don't even know who to call it for.
I know. This point. Yeah, I don't know. I think we were looking at the odds at least the other day on the DraftKings Sportsbook. And it was pretty much a toss-up, I think, on who the winner was. Look, you got the team of destiny, right? You have France, who are the defending champs, which, that's a storyline of itself. Well, we haven't seen that in ages, a team successfully go back-to-back. I will push back a bit on the Morocco, what's it called? Like, I think even though they lost 2-0, if you watching that game, even when they were down 1-0, they were giving France all that they could handle, multiple clearances off the line. There was that stretch of about 15, 20 minutes early in the second half where France was just under fire, and you everyone expected a goal to come. So I think
Morocco hit the post with a bicycle kick.
That was amazing. Oh my God.
Like, it was saved and then it hit the post. But yes,
it
was so great.
Absolutely insane. I mean, it was just chaos. It was a chaos game. I mean, look, I think Argentina, they were trending upward in the right direction after a slow start in Saudi Arabia, kind of ho-hum group stage, and then they got better each match, coupled with ending in a 3-0 win against Croatia. France, meanwhile, that was their first clean sheet all tournament, and again, like that 2-0 scoreline is very deceiving because they were under it for much of the game. I mean, you honestly, some could say Morocco were the better team, up until France scored that second one. So I don't know. It's really a tough one to call. Both teams have those game breakers, Lionel Messi and Mbappe, and not always does it come down to those stars, but I think in this game, I think it's going to. It's setting the stage for truly. I think it's going to be one of the best finals, and I know people have said that before, but I really like this matchup. It's very tantalizing.
You know what? I'm gonna say here, lazy cliche, putting it down to the stars in the end. I think what's gonna happen is that you're going to get the inevitable caginess of a final.
Oh yeah.
Most finals, they're not as open as you'd quite like them to be. There's that little bit of nerves. There's all of that going through. And what it's going to come down to is not those two stars. It's going to come down to which defense in the caginess can actually not concede a goal. Is it going to be a team of Argentinians who are probably a little bit nervy over the fact that it's kind of Lionel Messi's legacy is also sitting on all of their shoulders to actually achieve in a lot of ways? Or is it going to come down to the fact that you've got a French team that has struggled greatly throughout this tournament to keep clean sheets? I think that's what's going to be. I think it's going to be more a question of two defenses and who makes the mistake first.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'm really scared that this final will be kind of like the 2014 final between Argentina and Germany, where they, both teams just weren't able to generate any offensive chances, and ultimately, it was a Mario Götze, strike at the end that kind of gave Germany the trophy. And that's what I don't want. I want a free flowing game. I want chances. I want these teams to be running up and down. Like Owen's saying, I feel like it's going to be cagey. I feel like it's going to be tense, but hopefully we don't get that. There's a lot of stars on the field. There's a lot of talent, and hopefully that comes about, because we want a good game, man. Like, that's ultimately what we all want. And so we'll see. I got some World Cup facts for you over here if you guys want to hear them for a quick second. This is Argentina's 6th World Cup final, with only Germany having played in more. That's crazy. I feel like, we need to give Argentina more flowers there. France have reached the World Cup final for a 4th time, and they've all happened since 1998. That's insane to me, because it's insane how huge France has grown since 1998.
Dang.
So let's see here. This is the 4th World Cup meeting between Argentina and France. Argentina won 2 of the previous 3, but the last one, you guys remember in 2018 what happened, right?
Yeah, that Benjamin Pavard absolute rip. My word. And that Kylian Mbappe just outpacing everyone from like 75 yards out. That was an insane match. Wow.
I think he was 19 or 18.
He was 19. This is going to be his 2nd World Cup final appearance. Final at the age of 23.
Jesus. Yeah. 23. Imagine that if France wins, 23 years old, one of the biggest contracts in the world. It's insane for this guy. He's so good. But yeah, that game was incredible in the 2018 quarterfinals. In the Angel Di Maria goal. I don't know if you guys remember that.
That was a nice one too. A little curler going into the upper V. Yeah. Exactly.
And then last one for y'all. France are unbeaten in their last 10 World Cup matches against South American nations. They have won 6 and drawn 4. So, and the last time they lost wasn't to Argentina in 1978. So, some history there between the two nations. This one's gonna be insane, man. Who has more to lose in this final between Argentina and France?
Ooh, Argentina, because of Messi this is his last World Cup. I don't think that France. And when you look at France, I mean, who's their big star? Their big star more than anyone on there is Kylian Mbappe, who will be back for, you would hope, a few more World Cups to come. Lionel Messi does not have that luxury. And so, again, I do think that some of those Argentinian players, they won't admit to it, but they're going to go in with the pressure, not just of it being a World Cup, but the fact that it is ultimately Lionel Messi's legacy of, can he bring home a World Cup to Argentina? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I think that I think the pressure is more probably on them than it is on France.
I agree. But I think to your point earlier, I mean, this is going to be Ramon, you're saying it's a cagey affair. Oh, and you don't think it's going to come down to the stars. I think it will be a cagey affair. But I absolutely think that the stars will shine brightest. And I think it's because we've seen this already in this knockout stage of the World Cup. In Argentina's last match against Croatia, Messi was involved in 2 of the 3 goals with the PK, and then also with that dazzling run, little what do you want to call it? Juke and jive, whatever that was, skirmish, whatever, for that 3rd goal. That was incredible. Kylian Mbappe was torching Morocco's right flank up and down, and he was involved in that 2nd goal as well. I mean, I think that these two have only gotten better since the last World Cup, and I think it's a bit structured where Argentina last World Cup, I think that defensive fluidity was not there. They've bunkered down this time around. France, I actually think they've gotten slightly worse than last World Cup, even though they're still very dominant. I think to me, it's really going to come down to, yes, the defense, but really in that midfield, because Argentina's midfield, they have been absolute motors from front to back, whereas France, I think their midfield has been exposed a bit, and especially against Morocco, Didier Deschamps did not make the changes, and fortunately, they were able to come out of it with 2-0 win. But during that 1-0 pressing, they were getting overrun and overloaded on that right side, where Morocco was just putting 4 or 5 bodies on that right side, playing it through Hakimi and Ziyech. So I'm really curious where the tacticians come into play. And also, I think the goalkeepers, right? I think Izzo Martinez has been an absolute phenom, and his story is truly incredible. The fact that he was a fan at the last World Cup, and he's now starting for Argentina. Hugo Lloris, Michael, your comment about if he keeps putting in these performances, he'll get a move to a big club. Don't know what you mean. He's already at the biggest club in London. Hello. Yeah, but no, I think it's going to be where the stars are going to come out. And I'm going to even give you a little something from the DraftKings Sportsbook. Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe, both of them for anytime goal scorers, plus 475. I'm putting money on it.
Lock that in, especially if Argentina get another penalty like they have been getting in pretty much every knockout round. But
you know what? I'm not going to let Ramon get away with all the facts, though, for this World Cup, because I have another interesting fact here. One of the 2 assistant referees, the officials, on-field officials, that is, they're from Poland. Some of Marciniak will have the whistle for this game. One of the 2 assistant referees, his father was also an assistant referee who ran the line in the 1990 FIFA World Cup final between Germany and Argentina. Or between West Germany at the time, but
true.
Yeah, and West Germany came out as winners in that game.
Some bias, I feel. Intergenerational. That's cool. That's very cool, actually. I like that. Yeah, it's going to be a great match here. There are some questions about the France squad. I don't know if you guys have heard that there's some kind of bug going around the team. Adrien Rabiot, he was not able to play in that Morocco game because he had some sort of stomach bug, something like that. And last I heard, there were a couple other players that were sick, but they should be good, quote unquote, for Sunday. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Max, to your point about France, their midfield was really exposed. It seems like Deschamps just wasn't going to make any changes. I think he only used 2 of his substitutes during the entire game. So that's doing something, right?
Yeah. It's riding with your guys, and I mean, listen, they have a very talented squad, but I think if you look from front to back with this squad, the midfield is the weakest, and I think they've been able to do wonders without Pogba, without Conte. I mean, admittedly, those guys have been on the injury list, and they haven't been playing the best of their careers at the club. But I think that really is a problem for them. And the way that Argentina has been exploiting, especially against that game in Croatia, is right through the gut, right through the middle, especially on the counterattacks, and really pressing it to this team. There is a very good chance. I mean, I'm going to lock that bet with Messi and Mbappe anytime goal scores. But I think that really is where the battle is going to be within the midfield. Speaking of France's squad, and I don't know if you have this saved for later, have you heard the other news and possible development about their squad and a potential return of sorts?
So I had that on here, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't know if it's 100% true.
I'm not trying to spec. Listen, we're not trying to be in the business of spreading false information, but let's say hypothetically it's true.
Okay.
What do you think about playing Karim Benzema?
I think he's on the bench.
For sure. No, for sure. I don't think he's starting.
I think you give him 10 minutes, maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
I mean, it depends how fit he is. Look, to be clear here, Didier Deschamps did not give a clear answer when asked about this one. Sure. So he's not denying it. He's not denying it, but we will see. We will see.
But that would be insane. It'd be like a Willis Reed. I don't know if anybody gets that reference, but coming back after injury in the finals, like that would be insane. I think it would kind of break Twitter for a little bit at least, because for him to miss the entire tournament, return in the final, that'd be you
got to come pick up a medal, right? Like,
I think he'll get one regardless, right? He was registered with them, but
still on the.
You've got to have the moment of being handed the medal. That's the thing.
It's true. You
have to be there for that.
All right. Before we get to our predictions, guys, and that's when we'll talk about the DraftKings Sportsbook and what odds they have. But who besides, clearly, of course, Messi and Mbappe, the PSG teammates, who besides those two guys is going to be the key player in this match? You can give me one for Argentina or for both teams, but whatever. Who do you think is going to be the impact player on Sunday?
I'm gonna say Hugo Lloris.
He's been a brick wall. I can see that.
Is it in a positive way?
Yeah.
No
or it could be, I suppose, the alternative. If they don't show up, it's going to be sufficiently negative that's why you pick a goalkeeper like I just did. I mean, it's either way, you're probably right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for me, I think the one on for France is I'm going to go with Dembele. Listen, all the attention is going to be on Mbappe, and they're going to have to give him special attention. I think that match between Mbappe going up against Tagliafico, that is going to be absolutely fascinating. And Mbappe has really returned to form a bit in this tournament, so I'm really curious to see how he does.
Yeah, that one should be an interesting one. From my end, Griezmann. I think he's been super under the radar this tournament, but he's been one of the best players all tournament long. So, and it's good to see him back in form, because he struggled for a bit once he moved to Barcelona, and then he came back to Atletico Madrid. So for him to kind of show up in this World Cup, he still clearly has some stuff left in the tank. So good for him. And then on the other side, I think it's Julian Alvarez. He has 5 goals in this tournament. I think he's a good striker partner with Argentina. And once he moved to the starting lineup, Argentina was a little bit of a different team as well. So those are the two guys, just keep an eye on them, because they might just score the winning goal or give the winning assist. You never know. All right, y'all. Predictions. Owen, your favorite time.
Why am I'm not going first. Someone else.
Here we go. Yeah, that's fine. I'll go first.
Oh my God. All right, Max, go for it.
All right. This game, it's going to be close. I think we're all probably under the agreement, unless someone has an absolute plot twist, that there's probably not going to be a blowout either way. There's so much attacking talent on this team, and I could be predicting like 2, 3, 4 goals apiece total. But I really think the final, it reduces the goals. And I think last year's final, where I believe it was 3, either 4, I think it was 4-2, if I'm not mistaken. I think to me that was like such an outlier. Most of these times you're getting 2 goals total, and that's what I'm going with. 1-1, Messi and Mbappe score. This goes to PKs. This goes to pens. And You know what, man? I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Giving the team of destiny. France does not repeat. Woo! And Argentina, Messi retires. Not only that, that cements the GOAT status. I did not watch Diego Maradona in his prime, but that to me, GOAT. And maybe that's a separate conversation for afterwards, but like Messi wins this. He's the GOAT, especially in Argentina terms. There we have it.
That's a very separate conversation because I'm not sure if Messi would do what Maradona did if he was on what Maradona was on. But we'll, you know what I'm gonna say. Hey. I'm gonna go next. Go on. Yeah. I will do my prediction now. I'm gonna cheat out slightly by not giving you a direct score line, but I will give you a margin.
Oh, come on! It's the World Cup.
I will give you a margin of victory and the team. So it's a bet that you can put on. Kylian Mbappe is going to win another World Cup, but it's not going to be this one.
Oh! Ooh.
I'm going to take Argentina by 1 goal. It's plus 260, by the way.
Give us a score. Give us a score line.
No, I'm going with Argentina by 1 goal. I
don't. All right, Owen Evans, 9-8. Argentina. There's going to be 17 goals scored. He's not denying it.
I am denying it. I just said it was going to be 1 goal.
You said they're going to win by 1 goal.
They're going to win by 1 goal, yeah.
Okay, so Argentina's going to win.
I didn't say they were going to win 9-8. I said they were going to win by 1 goal. But if they win 9-8, then I still got it right. So.
Oh my goodness, boo! All right, let's take a look at the odds from the DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, money line, regular time, plus 180 for Argentina, plus 205 as a draw. Plus 180 for France. It's a dead heat, y'all.
Freaking coin flip, man. Oh my gosh.
That is insane. That's I think that speaks to, people are just throwing up their hand. They don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this is recency bias, and I'm really trying to look back at the last couple of World Cups but you make it to a World Cup final. You're a very strong team. You are not going to have many deep character flaws. I'm really trying to picture a World Cup final where, in a sense, it really is a coin flip and a team is not a clear favorite. Unless you guys have a different opinion, maybe like France, Italy is maybe one where it was like this disputed, but I really can't think of one where it's like there's
at that time France was the favorite.
That's a coin flip. Like it's tough, man. Like this is an absolute coin flip.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on. A couple other odds here. Anytime scorer, Leo Messi plus 170, Mbappe plus 185, Julian Alvarez plus 240. That's the one I would put my money on. And then Giroud plus 240 as well. So those are the two guys I feel will score. My prediction 2-1. I think France takes it in regular time. So yeah, I don't want Messi to be the GOAT because I agree with you, Max. If Messi wins this one, I can't say anything. We saw how Ronaldo played. Like I just need to shut my mouth after that. So yeah. Not a good look, but if you guys want to also bet on this game, make sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use it before the World Cup ends on Sunday. It went by so quick. A month ago, Owen was in Qatar partying it up. Now he's over here fighting with us all the time and the cat and talking about serial killers. But do it now. Download the app now and make sure you get your money because the World Cup only comes around every 4 years. Before we wrap up this World Cup stuff, so. What's do you guys know the last team that repeated as far as World Cup winners?
Was it Brazil in the 50s?
They won one in the 50s. When was the last time? What was the year that they won their second one? Y'all got this. You got this.
Was it? Wait, it?
They won 58. They won 58. So did they win 62 as well then?
That's right. Wow. That's the last team to win back-to-back World Cups. 58. I mean, on the men's side, at least, the U.S. ladies won it in 2019 and 2015. But and then before that, in the men's side, Italy, 1934 and 1938, and a little bit of a break after 1938. But yeah, so yeah, those are the last two, or the only two to have won back-to-back World Cups. And I think if France wins this one, I think. It's going to be pretty hard to stop them from moving forward because they're just a talent machine over there. They got guys down the pipeline, and I know Conte and Pogba and all those guys are getting a little bit older. They just have new guys coming up, right behind them. So it's, it's
but I think that's kind of missing the nature of international tournaments whereby so much of it becomes these one-off knockout games that in reality, while they are a phenomenal team and could well go on to win multiple trophies, the margin is so slim for messing up just because you have a bad game that very rarely do we see that kind of dominance whereby a team just utterly demolishes people for years. So,
but that's the point, you don't think that could happen with them winning in 2018 and getting to the final?
But I think it's very unlikely. I think it's very
That's what
unlikely.
I'm saying. We've never seen anything like this where they just keep producing talent and getting
to
the
other part is like the last time we even saw a men's side for the men's World Cup make it to consecutive finals was the 98-02 Brazil team. And even watching that, there was massive like coaching change. They went through multiple managers. I watched the whole documentary on that 2002 team. It was just completely night and day. This team, yes, there are like a lot of like there's injuries to the midfield. There's a lot of differences within that aspect, but like Didier Deschamps is still there. A lot of the similar guys in attacking, similar base defense and, goalkeeper. Yes, there's some things here and there, but like, I haven't seen something like that. I mean, I don't know how long that can continue, but the fact that you have a similar team within that 4-year cycles, I feel it's almost unheard of. And to have this level of success, this is a rarity.
Yeah, no. To Michael's point, even with the injured squad, their depth is better than most nations. And I was I don't know whose podcast I was listening to, but they were talking about the U.S. and how there was a steep fall off once you took off someone from the starting lineup in the U.S. From their starters to their bench, and that's sometimes what you need in the World Cups. You need to have guys that are ready to go with the same level of talent and tenacity as the guys that are starting, and you don't get that. You're even lucky if you can field 11 players with that quality, right? So.
Like literally, we like we said, the reports are not confirmed, but there's a chance they could bring the current Ballon d'Or winner off the bench. Like, are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Yeah, just as a reserve, maybe just
no big deal. 10 minutes.
Let's just bring him in. Let's see what happens. All right, y'all. If you're trying to have a good time, I implore you guys to check out our friends at OGs because it's a party, man. Whether they do events, the one that happened a few weeks ago, or you try their products or whatever stuff is related to OGs, it's always a good time, man. So if you guys haven't tried them, I know we talk about it all the time. You guys need to try them. Give them a chance. They're a great product, and you feel good, man. And so if you guys haven't tried them, make sure to check them out. OG's brands. You can find them at your local dispensary, online. They got different flavors. Max, do you have your sleepy time ready to go?
I'm not holding it in my hand this time around, but it's in the drawer. It's in the drawer right behind me. Yeah, man. No, it's good stuff. Love I'll preach them all. I'll preach the microdose. Big fan, especially for y'all who are looking to get a little can of Curious. Give them a try. Big fan. Yeah,
for sure. And you can check them out online as well, ogsbrands.com. And like I said earlier, at your local dispensary, check them out. They're our good friends, and it's always a good time with OGs. And also, Max, we're having a little bit of an event coming up next month, right? We're combining some golfing, some Four Peaks beer. What's going on there?
Oh, dude, it, man. Well, I mean, shoot, I know Owen, big, massive fan of Gareth Bale. Still putting the feeler out if he's going to be there. But hey, he's not going to be. If he's not taking swings, Owen's going to be taking some swings on the. Yes, he's nodding his head. You just can't see it right now if you're listening to audio. But on the driving range for our inaugural PHNX Tea Party presented by Four Peaks Brewing Company.
Max, if you'd like to buy a transatlantic plane ticket for me, I will be there that night. But unless you personally are going to do so, I'm afraid. Don't missell the people. I can't, unfortunately.
You
can beat up on those two. You'll have to wait for me for another time.
Max, he let you say this for like 4 shows straight.
That's fair. It's also not a coincidence that we announced this and then he just happens to go overseas. I think he's afraid of his golf game, but don't worry. Ramon's going to be stepping in. He'll take some swings. I'll take some swings.
Right.
But yes, come out. It's going to be an awesome time. PHNX Suns watch party as well. There's going to be food, drinks. We'll be watching the Suns take on the Timberwolves. All kinds of fun things there. We're already talking to our partners and be having like free food there. All kinds of great stuff. please come out, check out the link in the description. It's going to be just an awesome, fun time. Even if, you're not a golf guy, we have lots of fun activities. Cornhole, ping pong, going to be doing a shot of glory, like basketball shots. See, that was a nice form right there. But we're doing all kinds of fun things. I guess you guys are going to take my word on it if you're on audio, but yes, come check us out. It's going to be super fun and very, very an affordable price for everything we got going on there. So check it out. Hit me up if you have any questions about it personally, but it's going to be an absolutely banger of an event, as they say, as the kids say.
Make me jealous for not being there. Please go there, have a good time.
I'm there. What more do you need? Come on.
Yeah, we'll send you all the videos. But yeah, if you guys want to hang out with us, take a few swings and get some brews going, yeah, I'm gonna be there, so it's gonna be a great time. But yeah, make sure to get your ticket for that one. Quick pivot to another point that we had here on board. Owen, you know more about the situation. It was some news that came in earlier this week, and I'll kind of leave it up to you. You know more about what happened in regards to the news that we got regarding a Phoenix Rising fan earlier this week.
Yeah, there was some very sad news this week. Brian Dozier, a member of Union 602, stood with the Bandidos as well in the South End. Unfortunately, passed away after a battle with cancer. So it's some very sad news, of course. Those of you who ever encountered Brian in the South End would know that he had a very warm, friendly personality, always down to chat at games, and he will be badly missed by all of those who know him from Phoenix Rising games, and of course outside of Phoenix Rising as well. So it's really just, I mean, the team has posted about it as well. Union 602 posting about it, Bandidos posting about it, and just the memories that people sharing, the outpouring of support for his family and friends as well is, yeah, it's sad news. Of course, he was far too young, taken at just 38. But yeah, some very sad news, of course, this week, and our thoughts, of course, with Brian's family, friends, and those who knew him in the South End.
Yeah, I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but from everything that I've seen online and even the players posting about him, he seemed like a gentleman, a great guy, someone that I wish I would have met. And my condolences to his friends and family, and yeah, very, very sad news, of course.
And for those who may not know of Brian, you may recognize him as the guy who used to wear the light up mask in the South End. So yeah, he was there, brought a lot of passion for his team, and will be sadly missed.
Yes, sir. And Michael says, yeah, rest easy, Brian. Yeah, thank you for supporting the club and everything you did. So, oh man, yeah, very, very sad news to wrap up the show. Thank you for joining us today for another PHNX Rising show. We will be back next week with another edition. And thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope to see you next week. Take care.